Brother lads, welcome back to the Cossy Arsenal podcast. My name is Cossy. Welcome back to brand new video. This is the latest Arsenal news and transfer news as well. Now, the striker situation at Arsenal is catching up and down, with the reports from Marzio and Fabrizio confirming that Arsenal are looking at Victor Osimhen at the same time as looking at Benjamin Sesko. There's a big question: are we looking at a double deal? Are we looking to do, either of the two deals? It's still a very big question. But Fabrizio this morning confirms that Arsenal have not yet decided entirely on who is going to be the next Arsenal striker, and that will also depend on the budget. Internal talks are taking place, but a deal should be done very, very soon. So we are waiting for Arsenal to decide on the striker who is going to be coming in, but Osimhen is a very strong option, as well as Benjamin Sesko. Now, Marzio yesterday did come out and confirm that Arsenal want Osimhen, and Osimhen wants the Arsenal project, especially now that Chelsea have failed to agree a deal with Napoli for the striker Victor Osimhen. Talk to me in the comment box below. How do you assess these two? How do you compare Osimhen to Benjamin Sesko? Who do you want at Arsenal? Because for me, it's now confusing. It's now very confusing. Both of them are really quality strikers, but I think with Victor Osimhen, you have a striker with a CV. You have a striker with a history, of doing it at the top level. With with Benjamin Sesko, you've got a striker who's a very good project, a very good, prospect, but he doesn't have a CV. He has not done it in Europe, like we have seen Victor Osimhen. So, I mean, I'm caught in between. I'm going to provide both sides of the stories, and we are going to be able to, have a discussion around it. Now, guys, we are very close to 75. We are very close to 80,000 subscribers on the channel. If you can do me a favor and just do that subscribe button, a hell lot of justice. It will be, the world for me. It will mean the world for me. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Let's get into it. Now, Fabrizio Romano and Marzio are both very top journalists in Italy, and they've come out in the last 48 hours to report that Arsenal are very much interested, in the Nigerian striker Victor Osimhen. It started with Marzio confirming that Napoli and Chelsea negotiations did not take off for Victor Osimhen, so that deal is not happening at the moment. And he says, however, Mikel Arteta's Arsenal are very much interested in the Nigerian striker, and the Nigerian striker is also very much interested, in signing for Arsenal. That is a story that came out, a little bit earlier on yesterday, and I thought it was a joke, but still, it came out with more information on Sky Sports confirming that Benjamin Sesko is one of the top targets for Arsenal, not only Arsenal but also AC Milan as well in Italy, and that was Sky Sports quoting Marzio. Marzio also said that I think Arsenal will go for a striker. Even Victor Osimhen could be a target because Arsenal need a striker like that and a real number 9. So we will see if Sesko or Osimhen, but I think Arsenal will be in the market for one of those two, important strikers in this summer. So that is another, addition to what, Marzio had actually broken earlier on. Still confirming from Sky Sports, quoting Marzio, that Arsenal will sign either of Sesko or Osimhen this summer because they are in the market for a very important striker. So listen, that is a lot of information there on Osimhen, and it's a story I didn't expect, especially now that the Benjamin Sesko deal looks to be all but done. However, this morning, Fabrizio Romano has had another interesting twist to this story, giving it a lot of relevance, as well. Fabrizio has said every day we have a different rumor. One day it is Sesko, one day it is Osimhen, and one day it is Victor Gyökeres. One day it is this, and one day it is that. He says, let Arsenal work. They're discussing internally about the striker, considering all options they have, and they will decide what they want to do, also based on their budget. Arsenal don't want to spend crazy money. Arsenal, they want to spend smart money on the striker. That is why Arsenal haven't decided anything, at all on Victor Osimhen or any other striker target yet. So that is where we are when it comes to Fabrizio Romano and Marzio. Fabrizio says they have not decided on Osimhen. So there is still a big possibility that we get Osimhen. And he also says that they have not decided on any other striker target. Marzio says they want Osimhen and they want Sesko as well. So let's wait and see who is going to be the striker they sign this summer. So when we look at the two stories, both stories, it shows that Fabrizio, for me, is in a more credible, is in a more credible angle as compared to Marzio. Because what Fabrizio has done, he has told us that Arsenal are having talks. It has told us that Arsenal are having internal negotiations to decide on which striker to go with, especially given the fact that we have to consider the budget. But it's not committed that Arsenal want, Arsenal are going to sign, either of Sesko or Osimhen. So he says it could be Gyökeres. He says it could be someone else, right, at the moment. But the most important part of it, says the striker deal and the striker decision is going to be had very, very soon. So that means that Arsenal are close to a decision. Arsenal are very close to at least one player that we are going to see. The decision is very close. We just don't know who that player is. With Marzio, he's kind of gone narrow. His story shows that Arsenal want to sign either of Sesko or Victor Osimhen. There is still a possibility that we sign none of them. There's still a possibility that we sign, one player that has not been linked with Arsenal, even up to this point in time. So I think I'll go with the Fabrizio Romano story over Di Marzio. Obviously, I think Romano is a more, credible journalist when it comes to Italian news and also transfer news as compared to Gianluca Di Marzio. Now, let's talk about it. Right? Those are the reports. Now, for me, when it comes to Sesko and Osimhen, I think Arsenal will have to sort out their budget first. That is the first thing we've got to do, because both of them are very different profiles and both of them are very, are very different products in terms of how much they're going to cost you. With Osimhen, I was talking to Glenn yesterday on the Glenn and Cossy show. It will be coming out today at exactly 8 p.m. And we were talking about why Osimhen would be better than Sesko, and maybe why Sesko at times would be better than Osimhen. And I gave him an example, and I said, when you sign Osimhen, you've signed a player that you know what you're getting. With Benjamin Sesko, he's a surprise package, right? He's coming in, he's still young, he's just 21. You don't know what you're really going to get. You don't know what you're going to get from Ben Sesko. It's more of a gamble, right? And I think Osimhen is a gamble as well, because you don't know whether it's going to work out in England. You don't know whether it's going to continue to score the goals. And it's slightly older than Benjamin Sesko, right? But with Osimhen right now, he would be a marquee signing. I've seen someone call Benjamin Sesko a marquee signing. It's not a marquee signing. Come on. Let's be honest. It's not a marquee signing. It's just another signing. Like, Kai Havertz wasn't a marquee signing. Ben White wasn't a marquee signing. Julian Timber wasn't a marquee signing. So those are not marquee signings. They're just good signings. They're just good players that come in but for good money, but they're not marquee signings. So for me, I would go with Victor Osimhen. I'm not even going to lie, right? I would go with Victor Osimhen over Benjamin Sesko. I think with Sesko, there are only two advantages to him. The price, so Arsenal could save up to 40 million if they sign Sesko over Osimhen. That is number one. But if you want to close the gap on Man City, and I know we are tired of hearing this, but we've got to say it for the rest of our lives, because City are like 2 years ahead of us. If you want to close the gap on Man City, you've got to do what Man City do, and even better. So you look at Osimhen, and you compare him to Erling Haaland. That is a tick. That is, that's a match. You look at Saka and you compare him to Phil Foden. That's a match. You look at, Jeremy Doku and maybe Gabriel Martinelli. That is a match. You look at Kevin De Bruyne and Martin Odegaard. That could be a match. You look at Rodri and Declan Rice or Partey. That could be a match. So we've got to match them in terms of the quality they have. And in terms of signings, one thing we've seen from Man City is they don't mess around. They go and get a Kovacic, and Kovacic will win them the league. They go and get Doku and Gvardiol, and those two will be difference makers, in beating Arsenal to the title. So for me, Osimhen would be a statement signing. He would be a statement of intent, and he would be another reason for Man City to go out there and prepare well next season. I don't see Man City win 5 titles in a row. It will be a disgrace for the Premier League. It will be a disgrace from Arsenal and all the teams around to see Man City win 5 titles in a row. It will make the Premier League a farmers' league more than it is at the moment. But if Arsenal want to close that gap, if we want to honestly show people and tell people that we are worth, these are the kind of deals we've got to do, right? The deals that bring Osimhen to Arsenal for 100 million. And I think it was last summer when Simon Choden said, Arsenal have got to spend 200 million every single summer just to keep up with Man City. And he's absolutely spot on. Because you look at the Arsenal bench, every single player is going to be sold right this summer, or should be sold right this summer. Emil Smith has got to go. Vieira has got to go. Either of Jorginho or Partey has got to go. Gabriel Jesus has got to go. There's so many players that have got to go. In terms of do they bring in real quality? No, I'm sorry, they actually don't. Right. So for Arsenal to raise the bar, we have to have a squad that is self-sustaining in terms of who comes in and who comes off. Then we've got to have game changers and level raisers in that squad. Haaland is a level raiser. Kevin De Bruyne is a level raiser. Bernardo Silva is a level raiser. Josko Gvardiol is a level raiser. The whole backline at City are level raisers, and Rodri is a level raiser. When I ask you how many level raisers do we have at Arsenal, I think Rice is a level raiser. Saliba is a level raiser. Odegaard is a level raiser. Saka is a level raiser. Yeah, that's it, right? So we need more level raisers in this Arsenal team. We need more quality signings in this Arsenal team. And I think Osimhen would actually justify that. Now, Fabrizio talks about the budget. And I think that is where Sesko has a bigger advantage. Because just before I came on, I was actually assessing both statements from Marzio and Fabrizio. And there's something that Marzio said. Arsenal will prioritize and are prioritizing a move for Benjamin Sesko right now over Osimhen, although they still love Osimhen. They still have interest in Osimhen, and they know that Osimhen loves the project, at Arsenal as well. So I think this is a part where the price is going to be playing its own part. The price is going to play a bigger part in this transfer as compared to what exactly Arsenal would want to do. You cannot tell me that Mikel Arteta and Edu do not want a 25-goal proven machine. No one is going to convince me that we have signed Sesko because Arsenal thinks Sesko is better. Sesko has no. This is about the price. This is about what can we afford to spend on a striker, and then be able to to be able to spend more money across other positions. And I still, we talked about this with Glenn, and I actually talked about it, and I said, yeah, if you were telling me that Arsenal should sign a striker like Sesko because of the price, and then we can sign other players in other positions, that is sensible. That is good transfers. But if you're telling me that Arsenal are going to spend 50 million in midfield, 50 million at centre back, and we have an extra 100 million to spend on the forward line, Osimhen is a no-brainer, right? So I think this is about the price. This is about Sesko being cheaper and Osimhen being more expensive as compared to one another. And if anyone, or if Osimhen comes in, I don't expect Arsenal to make very many signings. If Sesko comes in, I expect Arsenal to make another 3 to 4 signings. But also, departures are going to be very key in this deal. If Arsenal can sell well, we might be able to raise some good money in terms of bringing in a Victor Osimhen. So if Arsenal can do good business in terms of outgoings, we put our talents out there on the market, and we market them very, very well, and we get some good money out of them, there is a big possibility that Osimhen is still on the cards. Now, who would I want? This is very difficult. Who would I want between the two? Sesko has more assets to his game than Victor Osimhen, and that is the reason why I don't want Sesko over Osimhen. Interesting. Listen to me. What Arsenal need right now is a striker who has less abilities on the ball, less abilities on the flanks, less abilities in midfield, and more abilities in the penalty area. We need a number 9 that doesn't really care about what assists are, what shot creating actions are, what XG is. We need a striker who only knows one language. The ball is in the back of the net. If I asked you how many goals would Osimhen score for Arsenal, it's 30 plus. 30 plus. Like all competitions, FA Cup, wherever, Champions League and Premier League, 30 plus. Because the service is there. Odegaard, Kai Havertz, Ben White, all these guys create good chances. If I asked you how many goals would Sesko score for us, all competitions, I would say 16, and you would probably say 20, right? So for me, Osimhen is the one I would go for. I don't need your abilities, in crossing the ball. I don't need your abilities on free kicks. What I need is your ability in the penalty area. One, the movement. I think Osimhen's movement in the penalty area is top notch. The way he always searches for that back post. Secondly, he does score fancy goals, but he also scores a lot of easy goals. We need a striker that is going to score easy goals, my friends. We need a guy that is going to be sure that if there is a possibility of him scoring 4 goals in one game, he's going to take that possibility. That is Victor Osimhen. The problem with Victor is January, AFCON. And that is the problem I have with African players. And that's the reason why you're seeing Arsenal shy away from African players. The same thing with Man City and big clubs. They're shying away from African players because African players have to leave the club at some point in time in January to go and play in AFCON. Why AFCON is not played in the summer? You can give me your reasons, because most of your countries have hosted the AFCON. My country has not, and my country is hosting very soon. So we might actually have to tell CAF to put the tournament in to put the tournament in the summer. I mean, that's when people will watch as well, and that's when players have actually got their break from their clubs. But anyway, Osimhen, Sesko is a transfer twist, but still the striker decision is still very close according to Romano. So we should be able to get information very, very soon.